Streamlabs. So you all forgive me. That was another false start that went out, but Streamlabs seems to be causing me some grief. So I am getting ready to go back over to just plain old Twitch live streaming. So please don't hold it against me. It's just technical issues that I'm trying to get sorted out, just like my spatula breaking into my food. That one goes away. Okay, so welcome. Today I am doing a sort of a special request from a family member. We're doing fried chicken and waffles tonight. And one of the things that I like to do is I like to kind of punch up the fried chicken a little bit with some kind of seasoning. And tonight I am doing ghost pepper fried chicken. We're going to be making waffles to go along with that, and a couple of mashed potatoes, because Lisa would prefer mashed potatoes, some white gravy, and biscuits. Now, this sounds like a huge ordeal. You're right, it is. It is going to be a massive undertaking. It is going to cause me such grief and pain, and you will get to watch me burn, crash and burn right here on live video. So, stick with me. It will be an exciting show. Now, just want to give you a hint of what I'm doing here. This is my chicken parts. I have chicken breasts, thighs, and legs. Nope, no wings. I have two of these. And there's a reason why I have two of these. One of them is going to be plain, and one of them is going to be ghost pepper. So, I don't want to cook the ghost pepper before I cook the plain ones. So I'm separating them at this stage of the game. Plus, I'm going to give the ghost peppers a little more extra time to soak up some of this regular 2% milk and pickle juice. Yep, I said pickle juice. One of the things that you can do if you do not have buttermilk, and trust me, buttermilk is better for fried chicken, but if you don't have buttermilk, use a combination of 1 to, I think it's 1 to 10 basically, but I kind of use a 1 to 4 ratio of a vinegar-based liquid with, or a citrus-based liquid like lemon juice or lime juice with plain milk. And that will curdle it enough so that you get a buttermilk type combination. So that's what this is. Pickle juice, dill pickle juice, plain dill pickle juice, and milk to kind of give me that buttermilk taste that I need. Sometimes I will also put Greek yogurt into my milk and then mix that up. But not tonight. This is just plain milk and pickle juice. So that's going in there. I have some bacon frying over here because we are doing bacon gravy instead of sausage gravy. And you may be thinking, I've never heard of bacon gravy. My guess is that you've heard of bacon gravy. It probably wasn't white gravy, though. It may have been called red eye gravy or, oh shoot, yeah, it's red eye gravy. That's usually made with bacon. But I'm gonna take the grease from the bacon and I'm gonna make my gravy out of that. Plus, the bacon bites are going to go back into the gravy so that it's a very rich gravy. That's one of the things about this meal. It's pure Southern. It's going to be rich, it's going to be crazy, and my belly is going to get bigger because of it. Biscuits, I'm not doing anything crazy or wild with that. We're just going to use some canned biscuits. Also, for the waffles, I'm just doing a simple waffle mix in a box, and then I'll mix that up in a little bit when it's appropriate. I'm also making some hash browns because potatoes are a vegetable, I think. But I'm going to be doing, inspired by the Waffle House, I'm going to be doing smothered, covered, and shredded hash browns. And that means I'm going to put a few onions in it, I'm going to put some cheese in it, and I'm going to put some scrambled eggs in it. So, be a little bit different. If I'm playing with my hair a lot tonight, I'm sorry because it is bugging me a wee bit. All right. So the chicken's soaking. It's taking a nice little warm, wonderful bath. Um, I have frozen shredded hash browns, so I'm not putting too much effort into that. Like I said, I'm just using a simple Walmart pancake and waffle mix. And I will grab a few other ingredients as I go along and show you what we're going to do. All right. Bacon is getting pretty close to done. It'll be ready in just a little bit. Now, I'm going to take this bowl and I'm going to put some all-purpose flour and some salt in here. As soon as I can find my flour. Yeah, there it is. Like I said, this is just all-purpose flour. Nothing really special. I'm going to go ahead and set it off to the side so I can use it in a little bit. Kosher salt. Yeah, that's a healthy helping right there. Like I said, this is going to be rich. There's not going to be anything healthy about it, except the portions. This is just onion powder. Let's see. I'm not going to put any pepper in it. Just a little bit more. Get ready to go. I'm going to be using both the oven and the countertop oven to warm things up and keep things warm, especially the chicken. Chicken is one of those things that people are afraid of. They're afraid especially of fried chicken because fried chicken has a tendency to get underdone. You can't really see inside of it, and therefore people undercook it and they get kind of afraid of what's going to happen. So what I typically do is I go ahead and fry the outside until it's a wonderful golden brown. And then I put it in an oven where it's hot enough to bring the interior temperature up and make it safe to eat. The thing that I'm going to be using tonight for cooking my fried chicken is cast iron Dutch ovens. And yes, I said Dutch ovens. I have two of them, and that's what I'm going to be using. I love using cast iron. It makes great food. It gets things hot. It holds its heat, and that's exactly what you want whenever you're frying something delicious like fried chicken. So, my bacon is, I think that's ready. So I'm going to go and take this out, and I'm going to need colander, and I'm going to need that one. So, put that up there. I'm going to need a bowl for my grease. I could probably set this down. It would be a lot smarter, wouldn't it? Lisa made the effort of cleaning my kitchen today so that we had a clean kitchen to cook in. That was very nice of her. Thank you very much, Lisa. I do appreciate it. All right, now we've got some browned, crispy crunchies in the bottom of that. We're going to use that for gravy in a little bit. So I need to get it out of the way. Where do I want to put it where it would be safe? Don't want to put it in the microwave because I'm going to be cooking tea in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven. The oven's not turned on yet, so we're safe for right now. When I turn it on in a little while, then we'll want to kind of change things around with that. All right. So there's my bacon. I'm going to put bacon just in a simple bowl so it's out of the way. I'm going to be using my colander in a little bit to help with the chicken as I kind of run it through the water, or not through the water, as I run it through my flour and my milk solutions for dredging. So that's all dredging is you want a layer of flour and then some liquid and then more flour. And that's really the basics of it. So nothing fancy. There's my baking grease. Put that over there. Put my colander right. Well, I'll put it back in the sink for now. Okay. I need my trusty rusty towel because I love it. Can't cook without a towel. All right, now I'm going to move my Dutch ovens into place, putting them on the biggest burners that I have. And I'm going to put them on about medium high, or high medium. I don't know. Take it to medium and then just a little hotter. And what I'm going to be using tonight is just basic vegetable oil. Don't want to get too crazy and use lard like some people, or use Crisco. To be honest, I hope I have more oil, because if not, this is going to be a very short stream. I'm not seeing any more oil. Okay, well, thanks for coming tonight. Hope you enjoy the show. Now I'm going to find something here in a minute to kind of boost that up and try to get my oil up where I need it. That, or I'm going to have to send somebody on an errand. But let's just hang out for a second and see. My pans are getting nice and warm. Yep, I think I am out of oil. Nicholas.
Yes.
Will you go get me some oil, please?
Sure.
Thank you very much. You can either go to Walmart or Dollar or just anywhere. I don't mind where. I just need some vegetable oil. That's so nice of you. Thank you so much. You also know that you won't get any waffles or fried chicken if I don't have it. So while Nick is doing that, I can go ahead and start getting my chicken ready to fry when the oil gets here and it gets heated up. So in this bowl, I have plain all-purpose flour, salt, and onion powder. And I'm just going to mix it together. I don't want to do too much too crazy. Okay. And if you want to fold it, you can do that. All right. And you can do this without tongs, and it's fine to do it without tongs. But I'm going to tell you right now, this stuff gets crazy messy. So, sorry about that. I have a drip pan. As soon as I can find my... Well enough. Just grabbing a grate from an old indoor grill, because that is going to act as my platform for draining the milk off as I get ready to powder and flour these. So, move this here, move this here, move this here. Alright, so I'm going to take, let's see, what did I do here? think I put an equal number in each one. So I'm going to take the more shallow one, and I'm going to pull out one of my chicken thighs. I'm going to put that right on top of there. Here's another chicken thigh. Right there. It's a leg. And all I did for this was I just bought a package of legs and thighs, and there were 4 in each one, or there was 4 in it. And so I just separated them out so that I have 2 thighs, 2 legs, and then I took 3 chicken breasts and I just split them in 2 and split them between 2 bowls. So I've now taken thighs and legs out of one bowl. I have 4 half chicken breasts in that. One of the things I can do is I do have enough oil that I can get started on this while Nick's out getting me more oil. My wallet is in my black leather coat, which I think is in the bedroom in the closet. All right, 421. Okay, here we go. Chicken is semi-drained. I don't want it too far gone. All right, now what I'm going to use is a sifter. You don't have to use this. This is kind of, for me, it works better. I don't know what I'm reaching for. There we go. All right, just scoop this up in here, and the bottom of it is just a sieve. That's all it is, with some blades that agitate. I don't need to use the blades. I can simply shake it and get some of it going, but I just want to put a light powdering on that. That's my fire alarm, my smoke alarm going off, because it believes that something is in danger. And Ollie will start panicking soon because he doesn't like the noise. So that's that. All right, now move that back a little bit. The one benefit of making fried chicken is you get to be as messy as you want to be. That's so much fun. Okay, so now we put a thin layer on that so that the next layer of milk, and yes, there should be egg in that, but I'm not going to put any egg in there this time because there's already a lot of liquid in that. Okay, so I'm just going to dip that right back in there. Don't want to wash all of the flour off. I just want to kind of make it gummy on the outside so that more flour will stick to it when I get it nice and covered in this bowl. Now here's my thing. I don't like a lot of breading on my fried chicken. I know, almost sounds like blasphemy, doesn't it? But, you know, I want to taste the chicken. I don't want to necessarily taste all of the flour. So I'm not putting, I'm not covering this in such a crazy level. And I'm going to turn that off because it's probably releasing something into the air, and my smoke alarm does not like that. chicken breasts out, and they're going to get the same treatment. There's 3 of those in there, so we'll give them a light dust. And the thing with the chicken breast is make sure you get the ends, because those ends are not going to flour themselves. Twitch better not DCMA me for just humming. Alright, so there, and there. Okay. Also, whenever I do the ghost pepper flour, yeah, I'm going to be doing ghost pepper flour. That will be a little bit thicker so that you'll be able to actually see a little more of a difference in that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let these sit and get nice and pasty while I'm waiting for oil to show up. I'll go ahead and give them just another little dusting. And when I get these started, I'm going to get on to preparing my waffling equipment, because we'll need to let that get nice and warm before we actually get the waffles ready. Excuse me while I go try to ventilate my smoke alarm. It's a worthless smoke alarm. You can't even hear it if you're in the bedroom with the door closed, but it is what it is. Okay, now let's try this. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get that nice and hot. Anyways. Let me tell you a little bit about what we're using for our seasoning tonight. The onion powder and salt are just basic, simple stuff. All-purpose flour as my base. But where is the ghost pepper coming from? I am not using ghost peppers. I am using one of my favorite shortcuts to seasoning different types of fried foods, and that is I crunch up chips. Tonight I'm going to be using Pocky Haunted Ghost Pepper tortilla chips. If you've never tried Pocky, they are famous for their one chip challenge. And that one chip challenge, Andrew tried it this year, and that was, or this past year, and he regretted his choices for at least the prior 48 hours leading up to that event. So, these things are hot. They are not for the timid. Andrew eats Takis, the purple bag, on almost a daily basis, and he doesn't touch these. They are just ridiculously hot. Now, here's the thing about the ghost pepper. The ghost pepper doesn't have a lot of flavor. It has a tremendous amount of heat, and so the pepper flavor is not very good, and that's why I'm going to be using a few other ingredients when I get to the ghost pepper fried chicken, because I want to up the flavor profile of the pepper. But I want you to take notice, Pocky has a chart on the back of their bag. Now it's labeled on the front, but you don't see it very well. But if you can see that, the chart says that these are freaking hot, and they are off the chart. So, ghost peppers are crazy hot. They, they rank up there in the Scoville units as being just nasty, burn yourself kind of hot. Now you're wondering, wait a minute, why is the bag empty? Well, that's because I've already taken care to empty the bag into a Ziploc bag and prepare them. bag looks like. I took the chips that were in the bag and I started crunching them down into this Ziploc bag. And one way to do it is just pour the chips into a Ziploc bag and take the time to do that. Or you can use one of these wonderful little tools. This is just a roller that we got through Pampered Chef many years ago. And it's just like a rolling pin, only it's a handheld. And if you take this and lay it down, you can crunch all of these chips and pulverize them into little bitty pieces that make them almost small enough to put into like a seasoning shaker. And I've done that at times as I've used these for seasoning of different things, not the Pocky chips, but Cool Ranch Doritos are amazing. I love using Cheetos for mine. I've even used Pockies. I mean, not Pockies, but Takis for flavoring fried chicken and those type of things. Now, the interesting thing about using Cheetos or Takis and maybe even the Pockies tonight is that it gives it a little bit of a red color, so it may come out kind of pink. And that's why I've affectionately come to call my chicken whenever I do this Crunchberry or Frankenberry chicken, because depending on how pink it is, it either looks like the red and pink Crunchberries in Captain Crunch, or more appropriately, the Frankenberry cereal that comes out around Halloween. All right, so my chicken is just about done. I'm going to go ahead and pick up my potatoes so I can get those started. Like I said, I am not doing anything major or grand. I'm just going to do a few of these so we have a few mashed potatoes to go with supper tonight. And gravy. That'll work. 4 of them, not very big. One way that you can kind of cheat on mashed potatoes, especially if you're cooking for one and you don't know exactly how many you can get from a single potato. I use instant potatoes, and I will take 1 or 2 potatoes and I will cook them just like mashed potatoes, but when I get them finished, I go ahead and make a packet of instant potatoes and I add it to it, and they are, in my opinion, they're just as good, and you don't have nearly as many potatoes that you have to keep around. So you can try that for a different way of doing that. I'm just washing a little bit of the dirt off. And for me, nothing beats one of these little scrubber brushes. I've tried to use like the little pads, the dishwashing pads. They keep getting confused for regular dishwashing. So I had to switch to something that looked a little bit different. And that's where this little brush comes in. I just use it to scrub the dirt off the potatoes. Sometimes the eyes, if you have an eye that is beginning to take root. Okay, so there we go. Put that right up there. Now I'm going to get a cutting board so that I can clean up relatively easy. I don't have to mess with the stuff that's on the counter. Okay. Some people use knives. Me, I like a potato peeler. And not only do I like a potato peeler, I like a particular potato peeler. And I have gotten a lot of crap from my family, in particular Andrew, because this is my absolute favorite. I don't want another kind of potato peeler in my house. This is an OXO potato peeler. Why is it special? It's not. It's just really good at what it does. So I like to take care of the peels. Yeah, I'm going to be quiet because if I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing, I'm going to end up with my fingers sliced open. And that is not good television, at least for a cooking show. Tell you what. These little, oh shoot. Y'all didn't see that. That was a potato in the chicken bowl. And I don't want to mess that up. So, yeah, I am doing mashed potatoes and hash browns. Don't don't judge me. Okay, one. Like I said, please, bear with me as I cut through these because this isn't going to take long. I just need to go through the one more, but I'll check my oil in just a minute. If you find a nasty spot in it, you can just cut those out. What I typically do is I'll just take my potato peeler and I'll scratch down until I get rid of it, till all of the dark spot is gone. Now, if it's really bad or it looks like it goes through a large portion of the potato, I just cut it in half and leave that nasty part out. And I can promise you that in all of the years that I've been cooking and doing that with potatoes, one, I never waste a whole potato, and two, I have never gotten sick. So I feel like that is all plus. Okay. Now, I'm going to get a fresh knife because I don't want to use any of my chicken knives. My Santaku. I love Santakus. They are so great for chopping through. In my opinion, they're best for semi-firm vegetables or tubers, something like that. If it's a firm one, like a carrot, I prefer going up to a chef's knife because carrots can be really, really challenging to go through with a blade. But usually a Santaku is thin enough that you can get through it relatively easy, and as long as it's nice and sharp, because a knife needs to be sharp, you do not want dull knives, but as long as the knife is good and sharp and it's honed, it will usually cut through what you need it to cut through. One of these days I may even do a knife show to talk about the different kinds of knives I think that anyone should have in their kitchen and learn to use on a regular basis. And they're not expensive. You can get crazy with knives. Some chefs' knives are, what is it? Heirlooms. They treat them like they are sacred objects. Hi, Julie. How are you? Me, I am very particular about my knives. I do not want my knives washed in a dishwasher. I don't want them handled inappropriately because I don't want to have to go through and replane a blade so that my cutting surface of my blade is all messed up. But you know what? I live in a family of 4 people. No one takes knives as seriously as I do. So I've gotten to where I don't get too crazy about my knives. I just recognize that I'm going to have to take care of them. Now, I'm going to take all of those potatoes. I am doing well, Julie. You are the only one who showed up today. I have been talking to myself for the last 40 minutes, which really isn't that hard because I talk to my dogs longer than that on a daily basis. All right, potatoes into the bowl. One thing that you can do is you can wash them off. It'll get the starch, the extra starch off. I'm not going to do that today because I kind of want thicker potatoes. And since I already gave them a scrub, I don't feel like it's necessary to go much farther with that. I'm going to put it in a small pan, and I'm going to leave it sit for right there because I think now is the time to try my oil. I'm taking just a piece of discard chicken. No, because you know why? I turned the heat off, and now I'm an idiot. So we're going to take that out of there. Let the oil heat back up because obviously I'm a goofball. And oh, yes, this is professional television, and you are welcome to be in my kitchen watching the amazing talent that I have. I'm going to go ahead and get my next batch of flour ready for my ghost pepper chicken. You made it just on time, Julie, for the ghost pepper portion of the show. I need a little bit of salt in my potatoes, so I'm going to sprinkle some salt in there. And I'm going to sprinkle salt in my flour, and I'm going to put my onion powder in there. I'm going to put quite a bit of onion powder in there with that. In fact, I'm probably going to kill my bottle. And I'm going to add some garlic powder to it. Now, I'm using powders and not actual things like garlic and onion because the powders that are dehydrated, they're going to handle the heat a little bit better. You don't want your you don't want your crust on your chicken to burn when it's frying. And I found that just plain dried seasoning will accomplish that. Now, right now I'm putting a little bit of lemon pepper inside of it so that I can deal with the flavorlessness of the ghost pepper. Ghost peppers, I said earlier, don't have a lot of flavor in them, and so I don't want to just have a ghost pepper chicken. I want to have a flavored chicken. I want something to be in there that will kind of kick that flavor up on the chicken side of things. All right, so I've got that. What I have over here, Julie, this is just plain fried chicken. Lisa does not want the ghost pepper, and so I am not going to put the ghost pepper in there for her. I'm just going to leave it out. I want to try to get my chat box popped out so that I can see it a little bit better. Let's see. Chat appearance, is that what I want? Well, I definitely want some bigger lettering because I'm practically blind. Okay. Ooh, there we go. Now I can actually see what people are saying. Review. Okay, excellent, excellent. Now, I actually have a small tablet up here that I can use that has a keyboard, so it'll make it a little bit easier for me. But now I can see chat, and so I see, Julie, you said nice instead of having to assume that that's what all of the letters were representing. Okay, so let's go ahead and get my piece of chicken again. It's got a little bit of oil on it, so that helps. Oh yeah, I think we're almost ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and put I'm going to give them one more toss on the old flour. And I'm going to put my chicken in. There's a leg. putting the center of the chicken toward the middle. I mean, not the center of the chicken, but the thicker part of the leg. I'm putting it into the middle of the pan. Hey, Jill, thanks for coming in. All right. So I'm going to move that just a wee bit. And I'm going to move one of my chicken breasts right over here. That one. I also want to go ahead and put my oven on roast 250 degrees. And I'm going to move that out to about an hour. Start that up. It's going to heat things up. I'm going to turn off the rotation because I don't need the rotation. And so whenever I get done with each individual piece of chicken, I will put it into that, and it will hopefully keep it nice and warm, but it will also hopefully bring it up to a temperature so that the inside of the meat will be cooked and the outside won't be too overly burnt, because it's going to burn some. You just have to accept the good and the bad on that. All right. Waiting for my oil to show up because Nick has it. Biscuits, hash browns. Yeah, I'm just pretty much waiting for the oil to show up, which means that everything's going to start coming together in the last hour of this, and I'm probably going to lose my mind during that hour. So, if you joined me late, I promised early in the stream that I'm going to crash and burn, as this is going to get very, very crazy in a little bit. Always is when I try to fry things. There's something about frying that always just makes me crazy. So that's what I'm doing. Just to highlight again, we're doing plain fried chicken. I have some potatoes on here that are going to be turned into a couple of portions of mashed potatoes. I have ghost pepper fried chicken that I'm going to be doing next. I'm going to have hash browns that are going to be, they're going to have onions, and they're going to have cheese, and they're going to have scrambled eggs in them, and also just plain waffles. So, it's a lot of food happening tonight, and I don't want anyone to think that I am in any way whatsoever a health nut. Plus, I also have for my little buddies in fur, I took the chicken breasts and the chicken thighs, and whenever I went in the chicken leg quarters, whenever I pieced those up to go into the skillet, I went ahead and trimmed the fat and some of the bigger chunks of meat that Lisa doesn't like on her chicken breast, and I set them over to the side, and so they're going to get a skillet treatment with just frying those up in the skillet so that they will have some supper goodies. Interestingly enough, when I took the dogs to the vet this last time, they said that dogs seem to have more of an allergy to chicken, especially in food products that are made for dogs. So if you have a dog with allergies and you can't quite figure out what's going on with them, you might try rotating them off any chicken product or chicken byproduct that's in their dog food. So go and find some all beef or fish or lamb and get that to them. Jill, I am doing pretty well. Like I said, this is going to be a test of my resolve and my sanity. But I think, oh yeah, that's a pretty chicken right there. I learned frying chicken is not nearly as scary as it seems. I love to fry chicken. Yeah, I know. I said that frying kind of causes me some craziness, and I'm legitimate on that. It still makes me crazy. But I'm not afraid if it undercooks or anything because, you know, there are ways to come around that. There are ways to circumvent undercooking your chicken. And whether that's putting it in an oven or sticking it in a dish with a lid and putting that in the microwave for just a minute or so, it yeah, it takes away from the crispiness of the outside, but it also gets your meat, if you're scared of it, to cook on the inside. But what I do is I just keep flipping it, keeping an eye on it, making sure that it's not burning on the outside so that it's cooking on the inside. And you can always adjust your temperature. You just want to keep having that bubbling, that sizzling, and making sure that it is doing all the stuff that it needs to do to get the meat cooked on the inside. All right, my dredge that I'm using is just a milk-based dredge. And what I'm using in particular is 2% milk with pickle juice. And yeah, I know, pickle juice, transgender women, I know, it's a thing. But hear me out. Buttermilk tastes better with fried chicken, and I didn't have enough buttermilk for both bowls that I'm doing, so I made a buttermilk similar substance, and I used about 1 to 4, 1 to 5 ratio on pickle juice to 2% milk. And so that kind of helps give me a little bit of that buttermilk richness that I need, and it also gives it a little bit of that curdling flavoring that makes fried chicken so good. Now, there's my chicken piece that I put in there for the dogs. It looks really nice and done. I used it to test my oil, so that's what that is. I probably need to make a little bit more room to get the oil around my chicken. I don't have a real thick crust on it, and so it's not going to be a super crispy type of fried chicken. It's just going to have a nice crust on the outside. Well, Jill, I hope that you're being safe. You're on your way home, but you're not watching me, are you? You better be just listening to me through the sound system and not watching. Now, when I begin to lose my mind and it goes very, very comical, then you can pull over on the side of the road and you can watch the show. But as of right now, I'm kind of sane at the moment, so you can just listen to me as I go. That's one of the things you got to watch out for. Grease explosions. Not fun. Not fun at all. I have done jalapeno chicken. I have done Dorito chicken. Oh, you're flying home. Very cool. Well, be safe and don't get too close to anyone, because you don't know what kind of things are out there. But I've used not Fritos, but Doritos and Cheetos, Takis, the hot chips. You may be wondering, how do you do that? Well, I took a bag of Pockies ghost pepper chips and just ground them up, and you just pulverize them so that they are a very fine powder. And I'm going to introduce some of that into my flour in just a little bit. In fact, I'm probably going to go ahead and do that. Some of them are big chunks still, but you know what? They're going to sort themselves out. And I don't want too many because they're just not going to work very well in there. Oops. I have chicken dough on there. I'm going to use this paddle. Now, I have to confess something to you all. What I do a lot. I confess to a lot of things to a lot of people. But I do a lot to make sure that you see as many safe cooking practices as possible so that you don't get cross-contamination or you don't get, problems with the things that you're cooking. I'm usually not this careful when I'm cooking off video. Yeah, I know. They just ruined my image. Oh, nice. DC for a photography gig. Woohoo, look at you. Alright. I don't know if you guys watched Quarantine Kitchen last night with Billy. I didn't get to watch it. I did tune in for a little bit, but I'm just struggling to get into that show. Not because it's a problem or because of the format. It's just Billy is typically cooking right as I'm cooking or as I'm eating. So it doesn't do me much good to watch it as I am cooking. We try to have supper right around 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock if I'm really in bad shape. But, and by bad shape, I just mean that I'm having a struggle with the day. Alright, yeah. That's very, very brown. So I'm going to give that just a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to pull those out and stick those in the oven. My spicy chicken is almost ready to go. We got some bacon that I'm going to be using for gravy in a little bit. And let's see, let me put that over here because that's where my waffles are going. I better use a different one for that. See, cross-contamination right there. I hope it is good, Jill. I love cooking fried chicken. It's my Southern and Methodist roots coming out, I'm sure, but I love fried chicken. In fact, the other night I was trying to get Kentucky fried chicken, but things did not work in my favor. So, by the way, yes, the skin is still on my legs and thigh. Not mine, but the chicken's. So it is, it's going to have a little bit more crunch than the chicken breast. Alright, now that's in a roaster at 250 degrees, and I'm just going to leave it in there to get nice and toasty. These are the thighs, and these are bone-in. That means that they're probably going to take a little bit longer to cook than even the last ones did, and that's okay. I'm alright with that. Yeah, that looks so good. I don't know if you can see it. Let's put it up there. Oh, yeah, it's got that crusty on the outside. It just looks so good. That's dogs. Ollie, come here. Dinah, come here. You bite? There we go. Sorry, Kobe, you don't get one. You get one, Ollie. There you go. Alright, so Ollie and Dinah got bites. I'm now in favored status for a moment. Okay, so got that going. Now it's time to begin the mess again. Tell you what, by the time Nick gets back, I may be done with the chicken. Alright, so that's a thigh and a leg and another leg and another thigh and one breast piece, two, and three. Okay, so what I did is in my milk, mixture, I have 2 thighs, 2 legs, and 3 breast pieces. And what I did was I took 3 full-size chicken breasts and cut them in half. So I split these up. Now, why do I have 2 bowls? It's not because of what you think. It's because I was letting this soak a little bit longer in the buttermilk mixture. But whenever I take and dip this chicken back in there for the second dredge, I did not want any of the ghost pepper to be in the milk so that it would carry over into the grease for Lisa. She does not want ghost pepper. She just wants plain old fried chicken. So that's what I'm doing for her, is I'm doing fried chicken for her. And let's see. I'm just using a sifter to knock some of my flour on top of that. I'm going to flip it over. Now, you can tell that the Pockies are in here because the flour has a slight color difference. It's definitely a little redder. It's you can see the flecks in there from the chips that are ground up. So you know that it's going to be at least a little bit hotter than normal. Now, here's the thing. How hot will it be? I have no clue. Now, alright, I just flip those over so that the bone side is now up and the meat side of the thigh is down on the bottom. And we're going to make sure that that doesn't burn, but it'll go back into the oven in just a little bit. Alright. Flip these back over because they are getting ready to go into their milk bath for second dip. Can you all hear me pretty well? I haven't checked yet because I've really been focused on trying to get this done, but how's the audio for y'all? Bath, dip. It's not going in for a long time, it's just going in for a little bit of dipping. All right. Thank you, Jill. I appreciate that. So for anybody who is going to stick around, Transgender Show is on tonight. 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Pacific. And if you're overseas, I don't have any clue. I can't do that math. Alright, now instead of sifting, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to shake it out onto the chicken and flip them. I'm really trying to contain the mess because in our household there's a general rule that the cook doesn't have to clean. But whenever I fry stuff, I make a tremendous mess. So I'm going to do what I can to keep the mess to a minimum so my family does not have to clean up after me. A little more. I may even take these for another bath and let them get some more flavor layers. Oh, that's ready to come out. Oh yeah. It's too thick to cook all the way, so I'm going to have to use the oven method to keep them cooking while I am taking care of the rest of the mess. Alright, yeah, just stick the chicken breasts into the oil and get them cooking again. And yes, I am going to make waffles in just a little bit. I mostly wanted to get most of this chicken out of the way so that I could start on the waffles and not feel like I'm doing too many things at one time, because I have a tendency to do that whenever I'm having a complicated meal like this. I will cook too much at one time and end up over tasking myself during the process. So I got the idea for this from two places. One, Popeyes used to, and I think they still do, Popeyes has a ghost pepper chicken strip. And I think that may have been what Emily was talking about yesterday when she was saying that she had chicken strips, and she thought that I had suggested them. Um, Popeyes has that ghost pepper chicken strip, and I don't care for them. They just don't. They're all heat, no flavor, and I want flavor, so that's why I've tweaked mine up a little bit. And I am just rolling these in my flour mixture to make sure that I've got a nice covering on them. Make sure they've got a little bit of flavor in them. I'm really hoping that what ends up happening with these is that I get a nice heat, but I get a nice combination with the other flavors that I've added to the flour. If not, it's just going to be hotter than blazes, and I'll deal with it. All right. Now, here's what's next. I have a new toy because of a friend who I know in another platform over on Discords. I have a new waffle iron. I do. It is the Cuisinart 5-in-1 griddler with waffle paddles. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Okay, you need to hush up there again. Okay, so let me learn how to do this. I'm going to put that at 375 and preheat. So that's going to go in there. I've already put the waffle plates in there, and so it'll be ready to go for my waffles. I am going to stir up my potatoes here for mashed potatoes. Yes, I've got mashed potatoes coming out the ears, or I've got potatoes coming out the ears tonight. I'm going to have mashed potatoes and hash browns. So yeah. I'm going to go ahead and turn those on. They are on high heat until they start to boil, and then I'll crank that back down. Hi, Rosa. Thank you very much. I figured you might appreciate that. Hey, for the first time, I can actually see who is portrayed there. Confession. I never, again, here I am with confessing stuff. I was never a fan of the games, but Loot Crate had it in. Loot Crate had it in one of their boxes, and it's a really nice shirt. I just don't know enough about it. So, pardon my ignorance, Rosa. But I'm not. I mean, my console experience was basically the Atari 2600. That was it. Never had a Nintendo. Never had a PlayStation. Never had a Sega. I had an Atari 2600 until 1980, I want to say 1989. In 1989, I graduated high school. So yes, you can do the math. I just turned 50. There, I'll help you out. But in 1989, I graduated high school, and I got my first PC, a 286 Windows machine. Well, it wasn't even Windows at that point, it was DOS. And I never went back. I never went back to consoles. The first console that I bought with me in mind was a Wii. Yeah, I got up. I was old. So, yeah, I know, you young people and your craziness. Well, at least you remember DOS. Well, you know, there's a lot of kids in their late 20s and down who don't even know what DOS is. So, alright, now the chicken breasts are going to go over. I still burned them a little bit, but that's okay. I think I'm going to turn my heat down for the next round. Okay, turn my heat down on there. Well, no, they didn't have a mouse. The mouse didn't become a computer thing until the Windows operating system came along, because it was a type interface. You had to type everything. Packard Bell 486, 66 megahertz with 32 megabyte of RAM. Wow. I remember when I got excited with a 486. I remember when I got excited about a 386. That was wild. Now that's cool, Rosa. If you've got it, you should see if you can power it back up and get it running again. Whoops. Yeah. A little blister right there from where the grease popped me. So, be careful with your cooking, especially around oils, because that stuff is crazy dangerous. Okay, now I can clean up a little bit of my messes. Nick will be back in just a little bit with my oil that I need for my waffle mix, because the waffles take an egg and an oil. Yeah, those machines were hard to kill. As long as the power supply still works and you have a floppy drive that works, I think you would be good to use it. Alright, now my griddle is up to heat. Hey, that's enough. Alright, how much that? Oh, I still have 45 minutes left. I'm in good shape. These I'm going to have to flip just a little quicker because the seasoning is scorching, so I want to make sure I don't make them all burnt. So they're just going to get a little bit of that. Jill, no. Don't do that to me. There are too many people I know that I feel old every time I talk around them, so don't do that to me. I'm going to clean up my surface a little bit here. I never use this for what it's intended for, but it is great to clean up your surface. And it's just a bench scraper, which I guess that is what it's intended for, is to scrape the bench. But it's used in working with dough on the countertop. So, but it works to clean it off too, so you can get all of the extra flour and things out of the way. The rainbow one, oh wait, the rainbow 5 1/4 or 3 1/2? Because I don't remember rainbow 5 1/4. Huh. Now I remember the rainbow colored 3 1/2. Okay, that's what I thought. I couldn't remember a 5 1/4 being rainbow colored. Yeah, I remember the 5 1/4. What was it? Shoot. I mean, all of my first games were on 5 1/4. It's crazy. The thing that I loved about the 3 1/2 is when PC Gamer started having, when I could afford to get PC Gamer with a 3 1/2 inch floppy. Woo! PC Gamer was amazing back then. It was such a good magazine. The quality on it kind of went downhill. I don't know why. I'm not going to judge it based on who owned it or what happened, but for me, I look back on the glory days and I think about some of the amazing articles that I read and the highlights and the reviews of games. It was just amazing. I never did care for Computer Shopper, mostly because I was purely a gamer at that point. I would upgrade my systems whenever I needed to do something to make sure that I had enough to go to the next level of gaming. And so that's why I'm as limited in my computer building experience as I am. All right, my potatoes are going to come down to a simmer. I'm going to flip my chicken a couple more times so that it can... Alright, that crust came off. I don't like that. So I'm going to leave those. That blister's coming up really well. I don't know if you guys can see that. The light may not be good. But anyway, yeah. It's going to be fun. Steal a piece. Nope, you can't see that. There's just enough lag on my... Yeah, I need to learn about Linux. That's an area of knowledge I just don't have. Yeah, Rosa, it was a horrendous splash. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of getting my waffles started. All right, now for waffles, I need 2 cups of waffle mix. This is a 1/2 cup. It's not a full cup, but it lets me get into the box a little easier. So, 1, 2. Come on over, Rosa. There'll be enough. 3. 4. Okay, 2 cups in there. I'm probably going to need to make one more. Yeah, I can do that. Well, no, you're not just going to quickly drive over. We've got a security gate. You have to have the passcode. So, hi, Ashley. How are you? All right. So that right there is about 3 cups of powder. That's what was left in there. Which means I'm going to need to... Oh, look at the recipe again. Let's flip a chicken. There we go. That's okay. Ow. Got me again. All right. So I don't have to mess with that one anymore. All right. I'm gonna put my recipe right there. I'm gonna need 1.5 cups of cool water is what it requests, but I use a little bit of milk. So 3/4 cup of milk. The measuring increments are washed off the bottom. And water up to 1.5 cups. By the way, that's just tap water that I pour into a milk jug, and I let the chlorine and fluoride vapors come off of it. So that's all that is. I am going to need 1.5 eggs. But Genie, eggs don't come in halves. That's right. So I'm going to use 2 eggs. Ta-da! Problem solved. Nope, not that one. It's broken. All right. So there's 2 eggs. Hey, bud. Put 1 egg. Thank you. Appreciate that. Where did you go?
Around the world and back.
Around the world and back. Well, thank you very much for coming back. All right, now I've got oil. Woohoo! I'll put that right there. Put this right here. He also brought something a little more grown up to go with his chicken. Gotcha. Yay! Battlefront finally downloaded it. Battleground. Which one is it? Which one's a Star Wars Battlefront? Battlefront 2. Yeah. Nick doesn't want to be on the stream, and I'm doing everything I can get. How do you do that with? Actually, I'm sorry that things are going kind of rough. I hate that for you. How do I do that with the tap water? I just take a gallon jug, I wash it out, and I put the tap water in there and leave the top off. That's it. All right, and I need 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Oh, let's check our chicken. Good. It's getting golden brown and delicious. Oh yeah, that looks amazing. I don't know why I'm holding that, mostly because it was in the way, and I really don't need to. Alright, now I'm going to drop this on the bottom. Like I said, I'm just leaving that in there at 250 degrees so that I can finish cooking the chicken off. Now I'm going to turn that oil off. Alright. Some people just seen a lady get hauled away because she refused to wear a mask. Yeah. With the federal mandate, you cannot fly without a mask. That's just how it is. And FAA and TSA, they're going to crack down on that. Yeah, actually, you can't control what your municipality does on water, and so they will use chlorines and fluorides and things like that. And sometimes it really messes with the flavoring of the water. And so for me, I just like to air it out and let some of that stuff get off of there because it does change the flavor so that it doesn't taste as chemically. Um, all right, I'm not really sure how this bottle opens. Ah, there it is. Okay, now this is going to take two, oh, one and a half. It's one and a half. It. Oh no, it's two, so I'm going to need three. I better double check that. Yeah, 2 tablespoons. So, and my third one for the half. It's going on. Okay. So there's that. Do this. I have no idea how that bottle works. Weird. Okay. Potatoes are cooking nicely. I'm gonna make this work just a little bit more in my favor and mix the oil in. Oh. Yeah, Jill, Brita does do a good job of filtering out, microscopic particles, and it does change the flavor. Um, the thing is that you have to remember to buy filters and replace filters, and that's just one step that seems to elude me for some strange reason. So I just, whenever I want better tasting water, that's all I do. Ashley, I am sorry that you were quarantined. It is not any fun. I'm a horrible one to talk about it, but yeah, it's safe and it's a better way to protect you and the others around you. So I'm glad that you're there taking care of yourself. Okay, what do I need? I need another one of these. Are you are you symptomatic, Ashley, or are you just protecting? Are you just quarantined for testing? So I've got all my liquid and my powder together. And once again, it just doesn't look liquidy enough to me, so I'm going to give it just a little bit more milk.
That wasn't bad.
Want to bet?
It was the peanut butter smoothie I'm drinking got caught in my throat.
Okay, so a few minor symptoms. Yeah.
Odd.
So is that the peanut butter one?
Odd.
It's odd. Okay.
I'm not gonna try it right now, but
All right, that looks good. Okay, so I have 30 minutes to finish out the rest of these. All right. Let's see what happens. I'm going to turn my heat down on that to 225. Now here's the thing. I don't know how you all feel about waffles. There was a big discussion about waffles over on one of my Discords that I'm a part of, and I like my waffles a particular way. So, I admit that. I'm very particular about my waffles. I like a crunchy, crispy outside to my waffle and a fluffy inside. So, I don't know if you like yours just kind of mushy um, or if you like yours kind of crunchy all the way through. But anyway, that's what I'm shooting for on my waffles is I want a crispy outside with a fluffy inside. All right, biscuits. I need biscuits. All right. Yeah, there you go, Rosa. Yeah, I like it that way. All right, these are buttermilk jumbo biscuits, not butter flavored. So, I'm gonna get ready to go for those in the big oven. 350. And then I'm going to also hopefully have topped with all sorts of unhealthy stuff. Rosa, there is nothing healthy about this meal at all. Period. There's not going to be anything good other than the flavor. Aha, forgot about my pan. I used that pan for my bacon a little bit earlier, and I'm going to be using it for my gravy pretty soon. Alright, my potatoes look to be ready, so I'm going to turn those off. So this is a brand new waffle iron, and hopefully I don't screw this up. Next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this pan for my waffles so that they go on there. But I'm going to take my hash browns next. And I'm just pouring hash browns into, I'll tell you what, hang on just a second. I'm going to give you guys a peek. Hey, Willie. All right. Okay. There we go. So, I'm taking just prepared hash browns and I'm pouring them into a pan here. Oh, freezer. Those go in the freezer. Now, I want sharp cheddar cheese. Red onion. And eggs. So, here we go. Hello there, dearie.
Hey,
How are you?
good.
Lisa has come into the kitchen to see what kind of chaos I'm creating. Mostly eggshells at this point, but there you go. Yeah, there's an eggshell in there. That's all right. It'll get sorted in the wash. There's 2 and 3. You know what? I'm just gonna do it one more.
Having a party?
Tip mine with some. Oh, top yours with runny, warmish Nutella and ice cream. Yum. Rosa likes Nutella and ice cream on her waffles. So.
I could eat that.
Okay, now let's get mine. eggs up.
Would you bring it over here?
Well, I have to bring the vegetable oil back.
Get my egg pan out of the way.
I need a rectangular tray.
Now,
Even
all I'm doing
to
is
warm
I'm
up
just
the
mixing this up like
smoothie king.
scrambled eggs. And doing this.
My smoothie king order was a mistake.
What?
I got a 40-ounce peanut butter banana
Okay,
smoothie, which
put
is
that
very
there.
rich and is high protein.
I'm gonna take some of my
Still
red onion.
Which is not good, because this is what you wanted.
I know.
What?
I said my smoothie king order was a mistake.
Yeah, it was a mistake.
Because I got the high protein peanut butter banana smoothie. But I will still eat, and I will make myself sick.
Well, that's responsible eating there for you. Alright, so red onion, just a little bit on there.
This one's a 2020 Sith Awards for Consumer's Choice.
And I'm gonna sprinkle in some of my
How much
bacon.
of that I can drink tonight?
This? Zero.
Any of it.
We're gonna try this.
Now I'm gonna get
This is from a
spatula. I'm gonna mix this all together. I have no idea how this is gonna turn out, so this will be a surprise for everybody to see what happens. But as a fallback, I have mashed potatoes.
This is death by dinner tonight, right?
This is death by starch tonight. Two different kinds of potatoes,
Biscuits.
waffles, biscuits, gravy.
Not a vegetable inside.
No, I'm trying to delude myself into believing there's a vegetable in the hash browns and the mashed potatoes. Okay, so now we go with sharp cheddar cheese on top of that.
Ollie's like, I want some cheese.
Yeah. Ollie got a bite of chicken a while ago, so he's good. Alright, get my cheese out of the way. Alright. Check my This is going in the oven. I've got a minute left on that, so I'm going to go ahead and put my biscuits in. Huh?
They won't all fit.
They won't all fit. I'm aware of that. I know what I'm doing. Believe me. I'm scaring the crap out of myself, but funny point. I didn't drop them. I got 6 in there. Look at that. Biscuits. Ha! Oh, sorry. So that's going in there. Waffle stuff's going away. So those are ready to go. I'm going to put that on for 15 minutes. My waffle is interesting. one waffle. I don't think I'm gonna cook a whole lot of these. Alright, now pour the next one in. Hi, Ollie. Ashley, that's not nice. Of course everybody saw me jump. You don't have to say anything. Oh. Alright, almost. Very good. Now we'll cook that and see what happens. What's next? What's next? What's next? I have 20 minutes. I have chicken done, waffles going, biscuits in, hash browns in, and that means gravy is the only thing that I have left. So, here we go. This is going to be a test. That right there. By the way, my cute little Mickey Mouse hot pad. Oh yeah, I gotta mash potatoes at some point. Alright, so I have gravy, let's see, gravy. I need oil. Oil's right here. I need a tablespoon. Okay. And a bowl of this. Yeah, I know, professional chefs, they have all their stuff together. Me, I'm just kind of doing it as I go. 1, 2, 3. My method of making gravy is basically to form a roux, which is equal parts oil or fat and flour, so that you can add them in Hey, Lise, how many teaspoons is a tablespoon? 4 teaspoons is a tablespoon? Okay. Alright. So, let's put that's going in there. Turn that to medium heat. My flour's right there, so I'm going to put it in my 1, 2. Can you Uber Eats some of that to my house? Sure. But Ashley, I promise you that if I Uber you any of this, I'm Ubering you part of the mess too. Because I have failed in my ability to keep my mess under control. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and turn this down to 170 degrees. Actually, what I want to do is I'm going to turn it down to 160 degrees, and we'll just leave that kind of heating everything up in there. See how that works. Let my oil get nice and toasty. not quite ready on that. And like I said at the beginning, I do not normally use every dish in the oven, in the kitchen when I'm cooking. Um, hey Jill, be safe. Have a safe trip, and keep your mask on. So, talk to you later. I don't use all of the dishes in the house every time I cook. I'm trying to be mindful of doing this the right way, so you all will see that I'm not making anyone in my household sick. Don't want to contaminate anybody with cross-contamination. Don't want to make anybody sick because of I wasn't paying attention to something. So I really don't always grab a new utensil every time I'm doing something different. Which means that my family is going to hate doing dishes tonight. Ashley says she has time because she's on 10-day quarantine.
To do the dishes?
Yeah.
Sweet.
So we have to ship them over, and then she has to ship them back, and then we have to sterilize them again.
That's a little too much trouble.
Yeah, I felt so. So my family's going to have to deal with the dishes over on this side, Ashley. Sorry.
So do we want to go to Arkansas Public Theater when that show?
Sure. What show?
Well, Buyer and Seller is Friday, February 5th.
Okay, so I just added my flour to my grease. What I'm wanting to do is I want to scrape up some of the yummy, yummy, yummy bits on the bottom.
It's an olive. I know. You're scary.
And I'm going to get even more whenever I put the milk in there. But the thing is that with the roux, you bring the flour and the oil up to where it's a nice bubbly mixture. And then you add in the milk or any other liquid that you want to add in a slow pace so that it thickens up as you go. I'm going to go ahead and turn my potatoes back on so I can bring them up to temperature and that they will be ready to go into the mash. Put my flour in just a little bit too early, so I'm having to wait for it to catch up with me.
I'm an olive. I'm an olive. What's up, olive?
So what is everybody else having for supper?
Nobody.
What are you all cooking for yourselves, or what are you calling in? Or Rosa, what are you having for breakfast? I guess it's breakfast time. Rosa, what time is it tomorrow? There.
Andrew? Andrew. Could you please take Amy to eat before supper?
Dinah, that's enough. Dinah, that's enough.
No. Dinah.
Sorry. Somebody said the wrong thing in my household. It's 10:51. Okay.
Did we set somebody else's dog barking?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I figured it was AM, Rosa, because it is tomorrow. Dinah, that is enough, girl.
See? Somebody's dog on there.
That's our dog in the time delay.
Oh.
They're setting themselves off.
That's funny.
The waffles are cooking right now, Pickles. In fact, that one is ready to go into the oven with the rest. Oh, that'll give me a chance to taste it. one more in that batch. Alright, I got too much milk going in here, so I'm gonna have to let this cook down a little bit. But I was beginning to scorch my flour, so I have 9 minutes left, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull a couple of things out. I really all I need to do is mash the potatoes and then begin to prepare everything for presentation on the table and holler at somebody in the household to get the table set. But I think the dogs just went out, so we'll give them a little bit of time. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more flour to this. Oh wow, perfect waffle. Crispy on the outside, nice and fluffy on the inside. Y'all, I'm never gonna hear the end of this because my gravy is burned.
Just like your mom.
I have scorched it, and my wife is going to rub it in. But you know what? It's gonna be tasty. And if she doesn't like it, she can go back to making gravy.
Did you go pee pee? You potty?
Yes.
All right. So, um, you guys still haven't said what you're having for supper or breakfast, for lunch or brunch, or whatever you're going to have, Rosa.
Or snack.
And by the way, you all tell my dear friend Emily that I'm going to start taking personally that she doesn't come and watch my show. And you can tell her that when I miss tonight because we are having game night tonight. That's right. Family game night. We are playing a Haunted Mansion game from the Haunted Mansion in Disney. I think it's kind of a mashup of Clue and Mysterium. So, how's the weather here?
Supposed to snow tonight.
Do what?
Supposed to snow tonight.
It's supposed to snow tonight. We've been relatively warm-ish. Temperature's been dropping a little bit, and we had a thunderstorm the other night. But yeah, I saw where Phoenix got snow.
Vegas.
Vegas got snow?
Yep.
Cool. 70 degrees in South Carolina.
Must be nice.
Let's see, Rosa, you're having noodles. I'm not surprised. You seem to
Whoa.
have noodles as a staple, so. Vegemite toast with a cup of coffee. Yum, I guess. I've never had Vegemite. I've heard that to the American palate, it's nasty. So I'm not going to judge it, you know. You crazy Australians with your Vegemite and your Nutella and
Told you it was a thing.
the environment that wants to kill you. Normally gravy does not take this long whenever I make it, but like I said, I messed up. I own it. Alright, I have 4 minutes left on this stream. The table is being set. I'm going to let my gravy thicken up a little bit. I'm getting ready to do my potatoes. Alright, now. You ate a Vegemite sandwich on Emily's stream once. Okay. I hope it wasn't a challenge or something like challenging. Would you get your hiney out of the way? Oh, okay. Alright, so fried chicken. This is ghost pepper chicken. That's leg. That's a leg. And that's a thigh. And that's a thigh. No, those are breasts. Smaller. Okay. Here's the thighs. Okay. So that's ghost pepper. Ah! I hate to think that my gravy's going to be a wash, but I think it will.
Do I need to make gravy?
No, you don't need to make gravy.
I wanted to show you how it's done.
Rosa, I am sorry, but the auto mod said you were being naughty. And I'm going to allow it because it was not naughty. So.
What'd she say?
Let's see. Less is more is all you have to say, Pickle. So, as a nativer, you don't think that Vegemite is all that great. Yes, I know it's a lot of chicken. You know why it's a lot of chicken? Because I wanted fried chicken. Okay, let me catch up here. Ashley had leftover Chinese noodle, tofu, chicken, and Asian mixed vegetables. Yum.
They all seem to be more healthy than we are.
Rosa, you are evil. That's just all there is to it. By the way, this is Lisa. This is my wife. She said when we give Vegemite to Americans, we put on more to mess with them. If I ever make it to Australia and you offer me a Vegemite sandwich, guess what? I will take it apart and scrape it. Just because you have warned me. Plain chicken, that's yours. Australians as a whole do that. Oh, I see. Because you are an innocent bystander in the cultural stereotype that I have just announced, huh? Rosa said hi.
Hi, Rosa.
Hey, look at the size of that waffle. That's a waffle. Try not to move your boot.
Trying to set your table.
I know you are, and I appreciate it. Alright, it is 6 o'clock.
Do we have tea?
We do not have tea. Because I had a few other things going on. I'm going to go with that for my waffles. I am going to finish up my gravy, finish up my mashed potatoes, and then pull everything out of the oven. Thank you all for coming by. Let's see. I think it's awesome, but people like to watch. It's funny to watch. Okie dokie. So Rosa and Ashley said hi.
Hi, Ashley.
And Lisa says hi back to y'all. and I'm going to say bye. Thank you all so much for coming and watching me. I am just happy that I did not lose my mind, because this was crazy. So thank you all for keeping me sane and watching everything that I did that was horribly wrong. And I hope you will stay tuned for the transgender show tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Pacific, and then whatever your time zone is appropriately after that. And then, hey, I will post on all of the various social media sites what it tastes like and who ended up in the hospital. So, you all take care. Have a good night.